Hi everyone, Happy New Year, Happy Monday. I am so glad that you are joining me. I apologize for going live a bit late tonight. I had some technical issues in the background. I have some fun projects for you tonight, showcasing some of the new products that will be available tomorrow. Yay! I can't wait for you all to see the new mini catalog and the celebration brochure. Celebration is my favorite time of the year. There's no better time to get free products for buying things that you already love. So I hope you will all join me to craft tonight and see some of the new products, a little sneak peek. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to switch over to my creative station. All right, let's just make sure we're in the right spot. I want to make sure my technical difficulties haven't continued. Bear with me just one moment. There we go. All right. If you are here and you are watching, make sure to say hi. Let me know that you're here. I love to interact with everybody when you are joining me. So the first card I am going to do tonight, I have not pre-made, so I'm not sure how this is going to work out. And I am going to use the new Kangaroo and Company stamp set. I mean, how super cute is this little kangaroo? I absolutely love him. Or her, I guess, because she's got a little pocket for her Joey. So I've put them on my clear blocks. Hi, Michelle. So I'm using an E block and a B block for my mama and her Joey. And I'm using Petal Pink cardstock, measuring 8.5 by 5.5. And I'm going to fold this in half. And of course I like that nice crisp edge, so I'm going to use my bone folder just to burnish the edge and make sure it's nice and flat. And then this is a piece of the Oh So Ombre paper. I've already cut a strip off of it for a different project, but I'm just going to use this again. And we're going to cut a 2-inch strip from this Oh So Ombre paper. And this is one of the items that you can earn for free during celebration starting tomorrow. So when you spend $60 Canadian, you will get to choose a product from the exclusive celebration brochure. The items are not available for purchase, so you can only get them when you order. And they're available for every quantity of 60 that you spend. So if you spent 120, you would get to choose 2 items, or a level 2 reward if you spent 180. 3 items, or a level 2 and a level 1, however you wanted to mix that up. There are different rewards. So this is a Bermuda Bay color, and it measures 2 inches by 5.25, and I'm going to stick that right to my card base. I'm just using my Stampin' seal. And I'm going to line it up with the folded edge, leaving that 1/8 of an inch borders, top, side, and bottom. Just give it a good rub to make sure that it's nice and tight there. And then I'm going to put that to the side, and I'm going to bring in some Whisper white cardstock. So again, I just have a scrap here because I've been playing already. And I'm going to cut this piece to 3 3/4 by 2.5, and that's going to be for our image. So I think our mama will fit on there just perfectly. So next I'm going to pull in my Memento black ink, and we're going to ink up mama really well. Just like so. And we're going to stamp her more towards the top of the piece of cardstock we cut. And I'm just going to push down all over the block. Make sure she's inked up nice and well there. So there's mama. And then what I love about photopolymer stamps is you can then line up baby after the fact. But what I want to do is I want to show you masking. because we don't want Joey to stamp over top of Mama. So I'm going to pull in a Post-it note and I'm going to stamp Mama, or the section of Mama that we're going to use here. So what I want is I want her neck and her arm to be covered, so we're not going to get baby on there. So I'm going to cut that section out with my paper snips. So if I were to lay that over the image, because it's a sticky note, it's going to stay put. So now I can ink up Joey. And I can give him a ride in Mom's pocket here. And you can see his tail still in the pocket. We've got his ear cutting off just a little bit, but that's okay. And now we're going to pull in our Stampin' blends. Laura, isn't it cute? I love this little kangaroo. He's just too adorable. And so I've pulled in Pool Party blends, and then I do have Bermuda Bay, but I think they're going to be too dark for what we want to do. I might actually use the lighter Bermuda Bay just for some shading. So we're going to color our little kangaroos with our blends. And again, with blends, the idea is to create shadows and highlights where you think the light would naturally hit. So this is the light Bermuda Bay. So I'm just adding some shadows. Stampin' Up! Does a great job of giving us some of the lines where we know that the shadows would naturally hit. So you're just going to go in and add those wherever you want. Hey Pam, thanks for joining. And then I'm going to come in with the dark Pool Party. And I'm going to blend those lines in. Stampin' blends are alcohol-based markers, so they do blend very well. So you can see just by going over it once, it doesn't really get rid of the lines, but you can go over it multiple times to get that blended look, and it's not going to tear your paper because they are alcohol-based. You can't do this with regular markers. You will start to tear the cardstock that you're coloring on. Just going to color Mama in. Blending those lines. And I think for Mama's body, I'm actually going to, or sorry, for her face and her neck area, I'm going to actually pull in the lighter Pool Party to blend those in even more. So it just creates that shadow and light. And there's no right or wrong with blends, it's personal preference. And the more you play with it, the more comfortable you'll get with how they perform and the coloring details that they create. harsh lines still down here, so we're just going to blend them out some more. Okay. So there's Mama. And of course Mama needs some pink in there, so let's grab, this is the dark petal pink blend, so I'm just going to color her nose, on the side of her ear, and we're going to give her a light pink, sorry, petal pink chest area. So, hi Michelle. So next we want to color Joey, and I think we're going to make Joey pop. So I'm going to pull in Highland Heather. This is one of my favorite colors. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to give him some shadows where you think those shadows might fall. Down here by the base of his tail. And then we're going to come in with the light and we're going to blend those out. There we go. Cute little Joey. I realized I missed Mama's hand over here, so I'm just going to come in and fix her paw. So there's Mama and Joey. And now, before we attach that to our card piece, I want to give him a mat. So I'm going to use our Stitched So Sweetly dies, which I have tucked into the side here. So these are the die set. They come with these cute little scalloped frames and then some labels for words if you chose to use them. So I'm going to use the largest frame here because it's going to give us a perfect mat for our kangaroo. And I'm going to pull in some basic black cardstock because I want to give it a pop. So I'm just going to run this through my machine, which is off camera, so give me one quick second here. So you can see that die cut out this perfect rectangle with the nice scalloped edges, and it's got a nice stitched border. So our little kangaroo is going to fit nicely between those stitch lines. So we're just going to attach that using our Stampin' seal. Nice and centered. And then I have this ribbon, which is in the annual catalog. It's part of a trio, and I showed you last week how you can create ribbons of any color just by using your blend. Now, I don't know if I want to change the color of this ribbon or if I want to use a new ribbon. So this is actually our metallic ribbon in the new catalog. It's 3/8 of an inch wide, and it is it's Blushing Bride, which doesn't coordinate with our cardstock, but we're going to use it anyway because it's got sparkle and I like sparkle. So I'm going to just cut the wrapper off of that, and we're going to pull out a piece of this fun trim. We're just going to wrap it around like so. I'm going to make the edges slightly longer for here. Just cut that with my paper snips. And before I attach it, I'm going to pull in some Whisper White Baker's twine, which is back in the new catalog. It had retired and it's back again, which is fantastic because I love it. And rather than tie my Blushing Bride ribbon, I'm actually going to tie a bow using the Baker's twine. So I'm going to hold my ends of the petal pink ribbon in place, and then I'm going to tie an overhand knot right up against the edge of the rectangle here. You want to try and get it as tight as possible. And then you're going to tie a second overhand knot to get it to stay in place before you go ahead and tie a bow. And then once you've got your bow, you can just trim off your end of the Baker's twine. And you can play with that until you get it to the desired shape and length. And then we're going to mount our kangaroo to our card base using Stampin' Dimensionals. So one in each corner and then one in the center. Peel off the back. And we're going to attach that right in the center. So it's overlapping our DSP and our card base. And my ends are a little too long, so I'm just going to trim them a little bit. Of course, we need a greeting on this card, so I'm going to pull out my little scrap of Whisper White, and we're going to, I think we're going to pop the hopping by just to say hi. And we're going to stamp that in the memento. And then I think I'm going to pull in those stitch shaped dies one more time. And let's see. Perfect. We're going to use this little scallopy label. So I'm going to pop that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Again, that's just off camera, so give me one quick second. Sorry, it's sliding around on me. Give me one moment. Here's my little label, and we're going to pop that up off the card base and the label right about there. And again, we're going to use Stampin' Dimensionals. But because our label is popped up already off the side, on the right side, we're going to stack our dimensionals to give it that extra support. So I put one down, peeled off the back, and then layered another on top. So you can see my one on the right is higher than my one on the left. And that's just to give it support off the card base. And there we have our first card using our super cute kangaroos, which are available beginning tomorrow. There are coordinating dies that go with the stamp set. So if that's something that is important to you, they are available. Fear not, there will be no fussy cutting required. I'm just going to clean up our kangaroos before I move on to our next project. Let me know what you thought of that one. I'm just using the Stampin' Chamois. It's just got water on it. It doesn't have any special cleaners. And it just cleans off the ink on your stamp so it's ready to use for the next time. All right. So that is card number 1. I'm going to tuck him off to the side here. Cover up my ink because I don't think we're going to need that for the next card. Okay, so the next card is this one here, and it features the new Corner Bouquet stamp set, which is also available tomorrow. It is a celebration reward, so it's one of the ones that you can get for free when you place a $60 order beginning tomorrow. And we're going to do some heat embossing. So I'm just going to pull out the supplies and we're going to get that card started. So this is the stamp set, Corner Bouquet. And like I mentioned, it's available for free beginning tomorrow. And we are also using another celebration reward, and that is this beautiful designer series paper. Which I showed you last week. And what I love about this card is it actually uses our Memories and More cards and envelopes. So we're going to use the largest size card. So these are prefabbed card bases with coordinating envelopes, which makes card making super easy. They're great for beginners. I'm going to just fold it in half. It's pre-scored, which makes it easy. And again, I like that nice crisp fold, so I'm going to burnish the edge with my bone folder. Like so. And I don't have any of my papers ready for this one, so you're going to have to bear with me as I cut through them. So then the base here is Night of Navy, and then we have Seaside Spray. So I'm going to grab both of those colors. Navy, actually, Seaside Spray, and some Whisper White, and we're going to go ahead and cut our paper for this. So our background, or our card base I should say, measures 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. So we want our navy mat to be 4 by 6. So pull in my trimmer. And I'm just going to cut our paper to the right size. What I love about our Stampin' trimmer is it goes to that 6 inches and you don't have to pull out your ruler. Trimmers that you buy at a craft store like a Michael's don't have that functionality. So there's our Night of Navy, creating that nice base. Next I'm going to cut our designer series paper, and I'm going to get you guys to pick which of these lovely papers you want. I showed these last week making the calendar, so this is the Paper Blooms designer series paper, and it is one of the free rewards that you can get. It's double-sided, so there are lots of beautiful patterns to choose from. So I have these 2 scraps that we could use, or we can use one of these ones. So you tell me which one you like better. 1, 2, or 3. One being the white background, 2 being the Seaside Spray, and 3 being the navy background. Just waiting to see if anybody comments. Got to vote for 3, which is the dark background. Got 1 for 1. So I'm just getting my heat tool out in preparation for embossing while I'm waiting. Any other preferences? All right, it looks like it's torn between a 3 and a 1, so I'm going to split the vote and go with 2. All right, so this piece is 2 inches wide. And it's going to be by 5 7/8. Actually, I stand corrected, it's by 6. And we want it to go edge to edge. So there is our designer series paper. Next, we're going to cut our Whisper White mat around our bouquet. So I like to cut my paper to 5.5 by 8.5 standard card base and then work from there. So I'm going to do that first. And we are going to cut this. Sorry, and I forget my measurements. So 3.5 by, let me see, 3 3/4. And cut it to 4, and then I can shave it down if it's not quite right. So there's our mat, and then we're going to do our Seaside spray. So we're going to go 3.5 by 3 1/4. We're going to put that to the side. All right. So there's our mat. And then we have our card base and our DSP. So the first thing you want to do is actually use the smaller corner bouquet image to stamp in the corners on the Night of Navy. So I'm going to pull that out. I'm going to mount that to a D-sized block. Actually just a tad smaller than the block, but I can make it work. And then I want Night of Navy ink, so I'm going to grab that. I'm just going to move my base out of the way. So I'm going to ink up that corner image in the Night of Navy. And you're going to stamp across the bottom right. And then you're going to ink it up again, and you're going to stamp the top right, the opposite corner. And I apologize if you got my head in the shot there while I lined that up. There we go. So now that can get attached right to the card base. I'm just going to close the navy ink, but we will need that again. So I'm going to give it a quick second to dry. Going to use my adhesive. This is the Stampin' Seal. And I'm going to put that right on my card base with the bouquets on the right side of the card. And then I'm going to flip it over to rub because I think that Night of Navy ink might still be a little bit wet and I don't want to risk smudging it. So there's our base. Next, you can go ahead and attach your DSP, whichever one you decided to use, to the Night of Navy. And again, it's going to get attached right on to the card. We're not using dimensionals. So you can go ahead and use your seal to do that. And I'm going to leave that 1/8 of an inch border at the edge on the left side. but there will be no border top or bottom. So there's our base. I'm just sticking that to the side because we're going to pull in our Seaside spray, and we're going to pull in the large corner stamp. I'm going to pull in my E block that I used for our Kangaroo Mama. I'm going to pull in some Versamark ink. I'm going to ink up our image really, really well. And we're going to stamp that along the bottom left corner of your cardstock. And again, give it a good push, make sure you've got even coverage. Now you won't see much because it is a watermark stamp. If I pick it up to the light, you might be able to see hints of it. But what we're going to do is use white stamping emboss powder. And I forgot to get my tray. So if you don't have a tray, you can use just a piece of paper folded to funnel your powder back in. We're just going to cover our stamp section in that heat emboss powder. Give it a good flick. Make sure you get off any of the excess. If there's any holes where you've got stamped images, you can resprinkle. And then that's just going to sit for a moment while I put the excess away. I'm going to put my lid on that so I don't risk setting the powder. And then I'm going to pull in my heat tool, which is this lovely thing here, and it's going to set that powder. So what it does is it basically melts that powder and it's going to become a raised texture. It is loud, so I apologize. Try to do it on camera so you can actually see the magic happen. So you can see it start to transform as it sets. And once that's done, it's pretty much set right away. It's a nice raised image off your cardstock. So now you can go ahead and attach that to your Whisper White mat. And again, this should give you a nice 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. Give it a good push. And then we're going to attach that to the card base using dimensionals. So there's our ends. And this is going to go on the lower half of the card. So, hi Lisa. And then I'm going to pull in a scrap of Whisper White, and I'm going to cut it to 1/2 of an inch wide. And the length doesn't matter because we're going to trim it once we've finished stamping on it. And I'm going to pull in another stamp set. This is another Celebration stamp set that you can earn. This is Heal Your Heart, and I'm going to pull in the Sorry for Your Loss. And I'm going to pull in my H block. Stamp in Night of Navy once again. You want to try and center that as best as possible on your Whisper White, like so. And then you can pull in your paper snips. Give the edges a little trim. And then your sentiment is going to get mounted to your card base using dimensionals once again. Just closing my ink so I don't get it all over, because I've been known to do that. So I'm just using 2 dimensionals. Peel off the backs. And we're going to layer that right over top. And you can see my ink wasn't totally dry. I smudged it a little bit, but that's okay. It's the joy of handmade cards. So there is card number 2 for this evening. You could really use any greeting you wanted on that, but happy with the sympathy card, as unfortunately I do have need of that. So here are our 2 cards for this evening. We've got our super cute kangaroo, and then we've got a sympathy card using Celebration items. And you could use your image that we stamped with to dress up your envelope to coordinate with your card. So that is our live stamping. I'm going to come back over and we're going to chat for just a few moments. Welcome back. I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. It's always fun to craft with you live. I'm here every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you saw my blog post this week, you'll notice that I changed my Inkblots Rewards program. And I've now included a make and take package for the cards that I make on my lives. So when you place an order of $35 or more using my host code before this coming Friday, which will be January 8th, I'm going to send you out the supplies to make the make and takes from tonight's live demonstration, so that you can make these super cute cards yourself. That is going to be ongoing, something that I'm trying for the new year, and I hope that you like the projects and will want to take advantage of that. Of course, my existing Inkblots rewards are still in effect, so when you spend $60, you're going to get an Inkblot token. When you collect 10 of those, then you're going to get a $40 product stamp set, whatever you choose from the catalog. And then I also have my deal of the week, which is still active. So that's qualifying orders using the host code $49 or above. And you can combine all of them. So if you placed a $60 order to get the Inkblot token to add those up over the year to get that free reward, you're also going to get the deal of the week, and you're going to get the make and take package. And starting tomorrow, if you spend $60, you're going to get a free Celebration reward. So it really is a win-win. Inkblots rewards are a great way for you to build up your own craft supplies. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had fun tonight, and I look forward to crafting with you next week. Thanks so much, everybody.